Good morning, students. Welcome to BSc1 Geology class. So today we are going to study the pathogenicity or parasitic effect of Ascaris lumbricoid. We have been discussing the various aspects of Ascaris lumbricoid, especially the life history of Ascaris lumbricoid. Life history is completed. The next aspect of Ascaris lumbricoid is its pathogenicity or parasitic effect, what it does inside the host body, how it disturbs the physiological processes of host, that we have to understand. Okay, so let us see. Around 500 to 5,000 adult Ascaris may be present in a single host. In a single host. What is the host of Ascaris lumbricoid? Human beings. Man is the host of Ascaris lumbricoid, round one. So in a single man, around 500 to 5,000 worms can remain, can survive in a single host. So abdominal discomforts, these worms create abdominal discomfort. Inside the abdomen, discomforts may be developed by these Ascaris lumbricoids. Then colic pains in the large intestine, pain may develop because of the presence of these worms in the lumen of large intestine. Colic pains accompanied with diarrhea and vomiting. Diarrhea may happen, then vomiting, loose motion and vomiting may occur due to the presence of these worms inside the alimentary canal, and it may lead to development of slight temperature in the host. So may block the intestine and appendix. They may block the lumen of intestine and appendix. So if the intestine is blocked by these worms, the movement of food may not occur properly. Okay? So they may injure intestine and cause peritonitis. They may injure intestine. Intestinal epithelium is injured, and this creates peritonitis, inflammation of the peritoneum. Peritoneum is called peritonitis. Okay? Then general nervousness, delirium or convulsions may occur due to these worms. Nervousness, dull mental capacity. Usually their infection is more in children. Such children may develop poor mental capacity, dull mental capacity, and stunt growth. Growth may not be proper. Growth is stunted. Growth is, suppressed. Proper growth is not seen in children infected by these worms. Okay? Then juveniles cause inflammation. Juveniles of Ascaris lumbricoid may cause inflammation and hemorrhage in the lungs. So these juveniles, along with the blood, they may enter lungs. There they rupture capillaries of lungs, and they enter into alveoli. Thus they create hemorrhage. Bleeding may happen in the lungs. Okay, that may result in development of another disease called pneumonia, bacterial disease, pneumonia. So hemorrhage in the lungs, which results in pneumonia. Very dangerous or dreadful disease may develop in such patients due to the hemorrhage of the alveoli of lungs. This disease caused by Ascaris is referred to as Ascariasis. The disease caused by Ascaris lumbricoid is generally known as Ascariasis. Ascariasis. So these are the different, pathogenic conditions, parasitic effect caused by Ascaris lumbricoid in host when they enter into host body. Okay. Then how to control? So prevention is better than cure. So prevention is known as prophylaxis. Prevention. So what to do to prevent this infection or this disease? Keeping good sanitary condition. This is the only method to protect ourselves from such parasites is keeping good sanitary condition. Soil pollution with human feces should be avoided. In villages, in our country, still people go for defecation in open fields. If they are infected by this type of parasite, the soil where they defecate may be contaminated with, may be polluted with these infectious parasites or juvenile stages. That should be avoided. Okay. Vegetables should be thoroughly washed and properly cooked. Before using them in food, they should be thoroughly washed and properly cooked before eating. If at all they contain such eggs or juveniles, they are killed. They can be killed. Fingernails should be regularly cut, or fingernails should be regularly cut, so that we can avoid the collection of dirt and eggs and juveniles of such parasites under the nails. Thus, we can protect ourselves from the attack of these creatures. Before eating, hands should be properly washed. With soap or the sanitizer. Okay, so these are the preventive measures, precautions that we can take to avoid the attack of these creatures on our body. Okay, so this is how the preventive measures can be taken. So the next one is the parasitic adaptations seen in Ascaris lumbricoid. Okay. Okay, parasitic adaptations of Ascaris lumbricoid. What are the parasitic adaptations are seen in Ascaris lumbricoid? Round one. Number one, body is long and cylindrical in shape with both ends pointed. Body is cylindrical, elongated. Such type of body shape can adjust to live comfortably inside the lumen of intestine. Body is covered externally with resistant cuticle, and it also secretes anti-enzymes. Body is externally covered by cuticle, and it also secretes anti-enzymes against the enzymes secreted by the host body. So these two, both of these protect the bone from the digestive enzymes of the host. Digestive enzymes in the host can not do anything to these parasites because they are externally covered by cuticle, as well as they secrete anti-enzymes. As the parasite feeds on digested and pre-digested food of the host, its alimentary canal is simple and poorly developed. As the parasite feeds on partly digested food of the host, the alimentary canal of the parasite is simple, not well developed. It is poorly developed. But pharynx being muscular, pharynx of the worm is muscular. It is muscular, facilitates ingestion of suctorial action. Ingestion by suctorial action. Ingestion of food by suctorial action. By sucking action, food is ingested into the alimentary canal, right? Therefore, the well-developed muscular pharynx is seen. Then, since circulatory system is absent, there is no circulatory system. Hence, its function of distributing the digested food to the body tissues and transfer of waste substances from the tissues to the excretory canals are performed by pseudocoelomic fluid. Pseudocoelomic fluid. It has no circulatory system. What is the function of circulatory system? Supply of nutrients from alimentary canal to all body tissues, and from body tissues or body cells, removal of waste material and bringing them to the excretory system. That function is performed by circulatory system. Here circulatory system is absent. That function is performed by pseudocoelomic fluid. Coelom is there, pseudocoelom is there, not true coelom. False coelom is there. That coelom is filled with fluid. That fluid is called pseudocoelomic fluid. That fluid does this work. Supply of nutrients to all body tissues and removal of waste from the body cells to bringing them to the excretory canals. All these functions are performed by the pseudocoelomic fluid. Therefore, it has no circulatory system. Okay. Some other adaptations are there. Let's see them. Okay, the next one. Mode of respiration is anaerobic because it lives in an environment which is nearly fully deficient of oxygen. So it is anaerobic. It respires in absence of oxygen because it lives in the area where the deficiency of oxygen is more. Okay, intestine inside the intestine lumen, it has no oxygen. Therefore, they have to respire through anaerobic method. Okay, so they are anaerobic worms. Sense organs are very poorly developed because it leads sheltered life. Not necessary. Sensory organs, presence of sensory organs is not required since they are, leading sheltered life inside the host body. Next, production of huge number of eggs compensates the wastage that takes place during their transfer from one host to new host. During the transfer from one host to another host, there would be loss of eggs. Huge number of eggs may be destroyed. That loss can be compensated by the production of huge number of eggs. The hard shell covering of the eggs protects the developing juveniles from environmental hazards. So eggs are covered by hard shell. So this shell protects the embryo present inside the egg from external environmental hazards. The eggs, being very small in size, are easily dispersed. Dispersal of the seed, these eggs is very easy because they are very small. Therefore, they can be transferred easily from place to place. Mode of direct infection due to absence of secondary host from the life history has increased the chances for juveniles to reach the fresh human host. Since it is monogenetic, it has only one host. The infection to human beings is very common by these juveniles. So increase the chances of juveniles to reach a fresh human host is more because it has not having secondary host. Only one host it has. So these are the adaptive features, parasitic adaptation seen in Ascaris required. To lead comfortable life inside the host body, they have developed different adaptive features. Adaptive features. So with this, we have completed the phylum Ascarimenthes. So from the next class, we can take the next phylum Annelida. Phylum Annelida. Thank you.